News highlight in the past 24 hours. Exclusive. Tinubu weighs 2027 ticket. Insiders say Shedima may stay as VP against earlier speculations. Emerging signals from within the presidency indicate that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu may retain Vice President Kashim Shettima as his running mate for the 2027 elections, despite earlier speculation about a possible change, the Elite Journal can report. In the months following the 2023 elections, several stakeholders had questioned whether the All Progressives Congress, APC, would sustain the Muslim ticket, citing evolving political and religious dynamics. However, insiders now suggest the president may be constrained by shifting alliances and limited alternatives. A senior source familiar with discussions in the presidency told the Elite Journal, "At this point, the president has very few options. Changing Shettima is no longer just a political decision. It could trigger unintended consequences in the north." Diplomatic considerations are also said to be influencing the calculations. Nigeria's designation by the United States as a country of particular concern in October 2025 has heightened international attention, particularly from Washington under President Donald Trump. A diplomatic source said, "The U.S. is watching Nigeria more closely than before. The 2027 election will shape future engagement, and there is interest in how inclusive and stable the political arrangement will be." At the domestic level, intelligence reports point to subtle but significant shifts among northern political actors. Sources allege that Babagana Zulum and Mai Mala Buni, both elected on the APC platform, are quietly sympathetic to a possible opposition bid by Atiku Abubakar, should he secure the ticket of the African Democratic Congress, ADC. Diazani Alison Madueke claims rubber stamp role in oil approvals case hearings. Diazani Alison Madueke, former Minister of Petroleum Resources, says she had limited control over oil contract approvals during her time in office, as most decisions were made before reaching her desk. This Day reports that Alison Madueke, while giving evidence during her trial at the Southwark Crown Court, said contract processes in the oil sector passed through multiple agencies before getting to the minister, her. She said the operational authority of the sector rested largely with the group managing director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, while the ministry played an oversight role. According to her, the size and complexity of the petroleum industry made direct ministerial control impractical, describing herself largely as rubber stamp in the process. The former minister said she rarely rejected contract approvals and did not interfere with decisions already processed within the system. Abuja Airport faces terror threat as customs warns of planned attacks. Fresh security concerns have emerged following intelligence indicating that terrorists may be plotting coordinated attacks on critical infrastructure in Abuja and neighboring Niger State. According to a confidential memo issued by the Nigeria Customs Service, NCS, the suspected targets include the Nnamdi Ezekwe International Airport, a prison facility within the Federal Capital Territory, and a military detention center in Niger State. The development was first reported by Associated Press, which obtained details of the internal communication. The report noted that Nigerian security agencies have since heightened alert levels in response to the potential threat. UTME 2026 begins with 2.2 million candidates across Nigeria. No fewer than 2.2 million candidates are set to sit for the 2026 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination, UTME, which commenced nationwide on Thursday. The examination, conducted by the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, is scheduled to run from April 16th to April 22nd across accredited computer-based test centers nationwide. JAMB Registrar Ishaq Oloyede has called on examination officials to uphold the highest standards of professionalism, stressing that the overall success of the exercise depends largely on their conduct. Julius Malema, sentenced 5 years for illegal gun use in South Africa. Julius Malema, leader of the Economic Freedom Fighters, EFF, has been sentenced to 5 years in prison after being found guilty of illegal possession of a firearm and discharging it in a public space. The ruling was delivered on Thursday by Magistrate Toinette Olivier at a court in East London, South Africa. Malema reportedly showed little emotion as the sentence was read. His legal team immediately filed an appeal in a bid to prevent his incarceration, a development that could delay enforcement of the sentence. The conviction and sentencing also raised the possibility of his disqualification from Parliament, depending on the outcome of the appeal process.